Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Lizzie's Touch, and today I'm going to show you all how I was able to achieve this makeup. It's actually a very simple look, and I'm quickly going to show you guys how I did this. It's not difficult at all. So here with me is my model Joy. The first thing that I did was to apply a micellar water, and this micellar water is from Blossom Cosmetics. It's a Nigerian brand, and this is to remove dirt and any makeup that was on her face before she came in. After that, I'm going to go in with a face primer, and this face primer is from Flawless Ivy. She doesn't actually have an oily skin, so I'm just going to go in with a primer that is matte. So I'm going to concentrate more on the areas where she can easily sweat, especially her T-zone areas, which is basically underneath her eyes, her jaw, forehead, and her nose. This is to keep the makeup intact. And at this point, I'm going to go in with foundation, and this foundation is from V Beauty. I discovered that the foundation is really lighter than that of her skin tone, but anytime you discover this kind of thing, do not fret. You could actually easily just go in with a darker shade and then use this light shade as a highlighter and then the darker shade as the contour, and you are good to go. So when I found out that it was too light for her skin, I had to go in with a darker shade just to blend everything properly. So for her forehead, I'm going in with this Nuban foundation. So I'm just going to apply that on her contour areas, her forehead, the cheekbone, and then a little bit underneath her jaw, so that everything blends and look more like her skin. So you're going to make sure that you blend so that everything comes out really fine and nice. So after blending all of that, I'm quickly going to move over to the nose and also blend that dark shade of foundation on the nose, because it looks more of her skin. And then do not forget the neck. You want everything to look like her neck downwards, so you need to make sure that you do that properly. So right now I'm going to pick up this concealer, and this concealer is from GELE Cosmetics, and it's about 3 tones lighter than that of her skin tone. I'm going to apply that on her T-zone areas. I'll concentrate more, especially underneath her eyes, her forehead, the nose right there, and her jaw. And then I'm going to go in with a darker shade of concealer as well, so that while blending, it's going to blend properly and I'll have a very smooth and nice work done. So I'm going to apply this darker shade of concealer on her forehead and then blend that into the lighter shade of concealer that I have right there. So while we applied the lighter shade of concealer, is just so that the forehead, the jaw, underneath the eyes can pop. Those are our highlight areas, so they need to pop. They need to look a little bit different from the parts of our faces that are contoured, which is usually dark. I hope that that is understood. So I'm just going to blend all of that, and this is what we have right now. So for her nose, I'm going to contour using that Nuban foundation, and I'm just going to contour the nose so that I can have a pointed look. So I'm going to use this blending brush right now to blend all of that so that it comes out really nice and smooth. So while working, you need to make sure that your work is really neat. Make sure that it's not rough at all. You want something really neat and as close to the skin as possible. So in order for the nose to look more pointed, look more chiseled, I'm going to highlight the nose again and then blend that properly. So for blush right now, I'm going in with this blush palette from My Cheek Cosmetics, and I'm just going to apply that on her cheekbone and then towards her forehead like this, and then blend. Moving moving on, guys, I'm still going to highlight underneath her eyes just so that that area can pop and so that it doesn't crease at all. I want that area to pop, so I'm going in with the same highlighter that I used initially, 3 tones lighter than that of her skin tone, and then I'm going to spread that all over the forehead and the jaw. Make sure that you blend properly. So at this point, guys, I'm going to pick up my powder palette, and this powder palette is from Cheek Cosmetics, and I'm just going to go in with lighter shades in the areas where I need light shades and darker shades in the areas that are contoured. So you want to go in with light shades in the area that are highlighted and darker shades with the areas that are contoured. Make sure that you don't go in too dark or too light. And then in the areas that I'm supposed to apply her shade of powder, I'll go in with her exact shade of powder. So at this point, I'm going to highlight underneath her eyes, her jaw, her forehead and nose using this light shade of powder, still from Cheek Cosmetics. And I'm just going to concentrate most especially underneath her eyes because I want that area to pop and I don't want it to crease at all. So one thing I want you guys to note is when you discover that you've applied your highlighter, like your concealer, when you've concealed underneath the eyes, it doesn't take about 30 seconds for it to crease. All you need to do is to go back with your beauty blender again and then blend underneath the eyes properly. It doesn't take much time for it to crease. So you need to make sure that before applying your powder, that is after applying your foundation or your concealer, you need to make sure that you have your beauty blender with you or your blending brush with you so that you can blend before applying your powder. So right now I'm contouring the nose and I'm using this dark shade of powder from Cheek Cosmetics still, and in order for the whole look to come out really nice, for it to pop, I'm going to highlight underneath the eyes again and then the bridge of the nose right here, the way you can see me do. So you need to make sure that the top of the nose right here is as slim as possible. Highlight using a light shade of powder or setting powder, but it needs to be as slim as possible at the top of the nose right there. So right now I'm going to go in with my powder blush and I'm just going to apply that on the cheekbone and then towards the forehead so that the face isn't wet. And this blush that I'm using is from GELE Cosmetics. Is a mixed brand, Favor and GELE. I'm just going in with that orange shade so that it looks more like that of her skin tone. You want to use something that looks more like that of her skin tone and not too pinkish or too, you know what I'm saying, guys. So right now I'm going to apply that light shade of powder on the top of her mouth right there, and then I'm just going to contour the middle of the mouth right there where I think it's called the mustache, I think so, but I'm just going to contour that part so that it pops properly. So moving on to the brows, I'm going to pick up my spoolie, brush up the brow hairs properly. You could actually use a brow tamer, you could actually use hair gel. I usually use hair gel just to keep the hair in place before I draw. So I'll pick up my Davis brow pencil. This is in the shade 0.03 and I'm going to draw a thin line underneath her brow and then fill up the areas where she does not have much hairs, and then I'm just going to draw another thin line above the brow to meet with the one underneath the brow. So right now I'm going to pick up this eyeliner from CARVE Cosmetics and I'm going to pick up the brown shade. It usually comes in black and brown, and I'm just going to apply the brown shade in the area where she does not really have enough hairs like this. I'll just use my spoolie to do that properly. So whatever I do on the right hand side of her face, I'm going to repeat on the other side of her face. Make sure that you pick up those hairs properly so that they look as natural as possible. So right now I'm going to highlight underneath her brow using this light shade of concealer. Is about 3 tones lighter than that of her skin tone, the same concealer that I used underneath her eyes. And I'm going to apply foundation, the foundation in her shade, in her skin tone, which is the Nuban foundation. I'm going to apply that in the inner corner of her brow like this. And then for the top of the brow, I'm still going to go in with her shade of foundation, which is from Nuban, at the top of the brow, and then blend. You need to make sure that you blend properly so that you do not have flashbacks and so that the work does not look rough. So moving on to the eyes, I'm going to apply this eye primer from Ben 9, and I'm just going to blend that using my hand, and then pick up my beauty blender again to blend that properly so that it looks smooth and not rough at all. So moving on, guys, I'm going to pick up the same eyeshadow palette from GELE Cosmetics, which is the one with Favor and GELE, and I'm going to go in with this orange shade on the top of her lid like this, on her crease area, and then towards her transition area. And then for the outer corner of the lid, I'm going to go in with a purple shade. So make sure you blend that properly, and I'm quickly going to do that on the other side of her eye. Blend. So for eyeliner, I'm going in with CARVE eyeliner in the black shade that they have. I'm just going to line underneath the eyes like this, and then use a black eyeshadow to blend properly so that her eyes can pop, and so that it just comes out different when you do that. So still underneath the eyes, I'm going to go in with I went in with a pink shade and then blended that properly, and I just did the same thing on the other side of her eyes. So right now I'm going to blend. I'll pick up my brush and blend the areas that are supposed to be highlighted. I'll apply powder, blend properly. The areas that are supposed to look like that of her skin tone, I'm going to apply powder there in the shade of her skin tone. So for her lips, I'm going to pick up this eyeliner from CARVE Cosmetics, the brown shade, and I'm just going to line the top of her lip and then do the same thing at the lower part of her lip. Make sure that you blend that properly. You don't want to have harsh lines all over, so you need to make sure that you blend that properly. And then for the inner part of her lip, I'm going to go in with an orange shade and then blend it properly using a blending brush. Make sure that the brush is not too big and not too small, just an appropriate size for her lip. And then I'm going to go in with a nude shade of lippy, and I'm going to blend that properly on her lips. Just blend. At this point, it actually wasn't giving me what I wanted, so I had to go in with a deeper shade of nude. And this lip palette that I'm using is from GELE Cosmetics, and then I blended that into her skin, into her lips, blended that properly, and then I went in with white just so that everything can come out really nice, and it actually did. So right now I'm just going to ask her to smudge her lips together, just rub them against each other so that the whole lips can blend properly. And then right now I'm going in with gloss, because I'm a glossy kind of girl. You could actually leave it matte, but I really do love gloss because it just changes the whole look. So I'm going to buff out the excess powder that we have on her face, and I'm going to use a shade of powder that is in that of her skin tone to remove the white excess powder that we have all over her face. So right now I'm going in with mascara from Kiss Beauty, and I'm just going to make sure that I apply that on her lashes first before applying falsies, and then I did that off camera because I was already running out of time, guys. Thank you so much. This is actually the finished look, and yes, I almost forgot, and then I went in with finishing spray from Kiss Beauty just to keep the whole makeup intact. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, do not forget to give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, and don't forget to watch my previous videos, guys. I love you all so much. Thank you all for watching, and I'm going to see you all in my next video. Bye.